Well, Avatar Fire and Ash is here, but is the movie any good? And should you devote 3 hours of your precious time on this dying planet to see this film? Well, unlike the film's narrative, the answer is complicated. Welcome back, ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and let's talk about Avatar Fire and Ash. First, I gotta let you guys know this as a baseline. I am an unashamed fan of the Avatar movies. I've heard all the criticisms that it's Ferngully space, that the narratives are too simplified, etc. And for the first 2 Avatar movies, I just didn't care about those criticisms. I agree that it is a really simple narrative, but these films are stunning to look at. And I think Cameron is smart to keep these stories as simple as possible. Like when you're asking the audience to absorb this whole world and culture and different alien species, you need a simple story and simple characters. And the technical achievement and detail of all of these movies is up there with like the Lord of the Rings. They design every creature and plant like they are in an actual biome, creating the creature's biology and skeletal structure so they feel more real. Avatar Fire and Ash has all of that, but it's also got too much of that. And I say this as an avowed fan of Avatar. This movie's a lot. So first, let me talk about what I liked in the movie and what I think worked really well, but then I'll get into what maybe didn't work and why maybe this franchise either needs to retire or get a major haircut. As always, this movie is it's just a mind-blowing technical achievement. There was not one frame that didn't look real and spectacular. Once again, you will be completely pulled into the world of Pandora. The Na'vi are rendered better than the human characters in the movie, which is a problem I'll talk about in just a little bit. My favorite part of the movie is what it added to the lore, namely the Ash people. This is a tribe led by Varang. Now, when her tribe was destroyed by a volcano, they turned from Awa and the natural order of the planet, and then they became raiders and marauders. So this is an entirely new culture that they invented for this movie. They look badass, and I love the idea that the Na'vi are not all a part of the same monolithic nature-worshipping species. The human villains in these movies are always cartoonishly bad. For instance, they want to slaughter all the whales even after they hear that the whales are intelligent and they have culture and music. But the Ash people have interesting motivations. They believe that their god turned on them, so they have turned on their god. I also love Miles Quaritch in this movie. Like in the first Avatar, he was a one-note military villain, but now, as he's been reborn in this new skin, he's slowly rediscovering himself. I think it's easy to say that the larger arc over these 5 possible films is the redemption of Miles Quaritch. In the movie, he begins to shrug off his military commanders. Like Jake, he goes native. He shacks up with the Ash Queen. He wears their colors. And most importantly, he is the only villainous human with a motivation that's outside of profit. He wants to reunite with his son Miles. Spider is his connection to his lost humanity, and that really humanizes him in a couple of very touching scenes at different points of the movie. Now, my big criticism from The Way of Water is that Neytiri had nothing to do in that movie but cry and scream a lot. But in this movie, she is the most dynamic character. After her eldest son died in Way of Water, she has been consumed with hate for the Pinkskins. Now, there's some on-the-nose symbolism here that shows how she is like the Ash people. Like, for instance, she even wears the colors of the Ash people at one point in the movie. Like, she begins the film hating Spider because she only looks at him and sees his dad, and the other sky people who are ruining her planet. She even suggests killing Spider to keep the humans from using him. But really, she just hates the sight of him. Her arc in the movie is to finally accept Spider when she tells him, "I see you." And there are some other great character stories that carry over from the last film. Loak continues to suffer from second son syndrome.
The wrong kid died.
And he wants to prove himself to his dad. Kiri learns that she's basically the Na'vi Messiah, born as a child of Awa. And Spider is central to a lot of the movie's story. But he's also often a bystander in this story. But, he wants to become a Na'vi, and he does. It works. He becomes one. And that's all what I really liked about the film, but there's a lot that didn't quite work for me. First, let's talk about the length. Now, I will, full disclosure, say I'm biased here. I came into this screening knowing that I had a hard time out to catch a train, and then this MC came up, and he started to hype up the crowd at the screening. So, I was a little on edge for the movie to start. It started 10 minutes late, and the runtime is 3 hours, 15 minutes. It's a long time. And normally, I would be all in on getting immersed into Pandora for 3 hours. But the problem is, so much of this movie's story is repetitious. It's either repeating things from the same movie or it's repeating story beats from previous movies. I think you could have easily cut 45 minutes of this out to make it a tighter film, and the movie would have been better off for it. But what do you mean? Well, okay, a lot of story beats are repeated over and over in this film. I mean, The Way of Water did this too. Remember, the kids were captured 4 times in that movie? And in this film, it's Jake's turn to get captured twice. Quaritch nabs him early on, and then he escapes, and then he's captured later, and that's more of a big deal when he's captured later on. But the first capture is just there to give him and Quaritch a chance to sit down and talk and to work together. But that scene felt redundant to me given that he actually captures Jake for good, or temporarily for good later in the movie. Now, early in this movie, they make a big show of leaving the Water Tribe, and I thought, oh, okay, this makes sense, because now we're going to go off and we're going to see different Na'vi cultures on Pandora. They join these Wind Traders, who are then attacked by the Ash Marauders. Now look, in a more typical movie structure, this attack would have kept them off balance for the rest of the movie. The family would have been divided. They meet new people, new cultures. They would have fallen in with the Wind Traders and been on their back feet and then forced to adapt in a way to fight the Ash people. But instead, they recover from that, they reunite, they briefly check in with the survivors of Home Tree, and then they all go back to the Water Tribe. And a lot of this movie then just feels like a retread of Way of Water. We get more stuff with the whales, including the return of the franchise's best character, Payakan. Remember, the last movie ended with this big climax where Payakan helped to take down a whaling ship. So then this movie kind of redoes that by having all the whales attack a whole bunch of ships. It's an incredible action sequence, but this is also the third time in an Avatar movie that we've ended with this same fight. All the Na'vi band together to stop the cartoonishly evil Sky people. And also, this film did a better job managing the kids' storyline. Like in the previous movie, the kids' roles were largely just to be captured and act as bait. And that happens in this movie too. But also in this movie, Spider and Tuck have to help Kiri connect to Awa. This activates the warrior mother mode, and then the planet finally turns on the Sky people. But honestly, did we really need all that buildup? Like, I thought it was pretty obvious that Kiri was this messiah and that Awa was going to reject humans like a giant immune system. In the final fight, all this happens during the all is lost moment, which seems like it went on for like 10 minutes. It was a very, very long buildup that was building up to something that's pretty obvious it's going to happen, and that's just one of many places where the movie starts to drag because it seems to be in love with its own visuals. And just like in the last movie, we also get a final confrontation with Quaritch, who's on a boat holding Jake's family hostage. There's also a big showdown involving Spider, and then Loak has to prove himself. I, honest to God, thought all of these character beats are resolved in the last movie, so I was surprised to see them right back in this one. And look, this is a total nitpick, but the Na'vi culture believes in eternal life. They can literally connect their ponytails to a tree and upload their brains to a mainframe and talk to their dead loved ones. So it's crazy that they're still mourning their oldest kid and they're this bent out of shape about his death. Yes, it's sad that your son died, but you can go talk to him literally whenever you want. The movie begins with Loak speaking to his dead brother through the internet. Now, for people who say that these movies are basically Ferngully in space, I just want to own that for a second and say, you're right, it kind of is, which is why we made this shirt, Ferngully in the Avatar font, for sale at our merch store. And we also designed this one, just like humans turn themselves into these blue people. We have TV's greatest never knew, Tobias Funke from Arrested Development, as a Na'vi who just blued himself. Guys, we love designing these shirts for you. It's so much fun, and you can find links for these below if you want to shop our merch store, help support the channel, and you can become a member and get free stuff. Links are below. Now, I mentioned that the movie does introduce some really cool concepts and ideas with the Ash people. Quaritch arms them, mirroring how colonizers turn native tribes against one another by offering some natives weapons and medicine in exchange for fighting other tribes. So that's all really cool and interesting, and I want to see it further explored in more movies. But this movie also continues to ignore one of the most interesting parts of Avatar lore, that the Earth is dying. The human race is going to become extinct. That's the real reason they're on this planet. And we see in this movie this massive human city and crowds of people. So who are these people? Has Earth started to transplant people here? Shouldn't they build domes over their cities so people can breathe? I mean, are there other humans like Jermaine Clement's character who think that they should respect the natives? I guess these are all pretty nuanced questions, but the movie doesn't want to linger on nuance. It's always human bad and cat people good. But I want to know, who's the human government? Is it just controlled by corporations? Look, I know that James Cameron is essentially putting on a morality play here. It's a fairy tale about how humans should learn how to live in harmony with nature. But I like my villains with more nuance. I mean, sure, the side boss characters like Giovanni Ribisi and the whale guy can be there just for the money, but is anyone in this film just genuinely trying to save the human race? And this is why Quaritch works so well for the villain. From one point of view, he's the hero of this story. Like, I talked about this in our Ending Explained video, but think about it. Earth is dying. He's sent to this other planet to provide security for the people who are mining a mineral to explore space and find humanity its new home. It's just like the scientists in Interstellar. He's even betrayed by one of his friends, somebody he fought alongside, and then he dies in battle. This means Earth is doomed. But then he is resurrected and gets a second chance at life to save humanity and be reunited with his son. Like in the first film, he was an incredibly one-note character who has been gifted with an arc that you don't see anywhere else in this series. Now, as of when I recorded this, we don't yet know if there's going to be an Avatar 4 and 5. James Cameron does have an overall plot for these films, and they apparently filmed some of Part 4 already, but the studio is wary of these big budget pictures because of the current down market in theaters. Now, I do think this franchise should continue, but I think it has to go forward with somebody telling James Cameron no. And I want to be clear, James Cameron, I mean, my God, he's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. He created Terminator, he expanded the Alien franchise in bold new directions. Hell, he made 3 of the highest grossing films of all time, and he basically did True Lies as a side project, and that movie is amazing. The man is a visionary and a pioneer, and I think someone has to say no to him every once in a while. See, this happens to artists who are in their imperial periods. For instance, John Lennon on the Beatles made that Second Side of the White album that's frankly unlistenable.
Number 9.
Stephen King's books at one point were bloating to over 1,000 pages each because no editor could reasonably tell him no. I mean, he's Stephen King. So I think the studio is also just giving James Cameron carte blanche because they know the man's going to make them $1 billion. But when a film starts to get repetitious like this, it starts to drag. And even if you're not somebody who follows movie storytelling or plot or screenplay writing, you feel the drag, don't you? You start to get bored, you want to go to the bathroom, you fidget, and when that movie starts to drag, it means that word of mouth is going to die down. And people start to say things to their friends like, well, it was good, but it was long. You can watch it on Disney Plus in a month. And that sentence is death for the movie industry. That is the one thing the studios never want people to say, that you can just wait for it on streaming. Unfortunately, movie theaters today have to compete with phones and short attention spans and a technological world that increasingly demands that we always stay plugged in and available to everybody all the time. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying that in reality, asking the audience to sit through a meandering story like this isn't a treat, it's a chore. So, Ray, did you like the movie? Oh my God, yeah, look, overall, yes, I like the movie. It's an incredible technical achievement. It's gorgeous, it's fun, and because of this highly repetitive plot, there's lots of places where you can get up to pee and you're not going to miss anything important. But what annoys me is that this is a good movie that really should have been great. With a little bit of script massaging, a little more pushback from other people, I think Cameron's vision would truly have come to life. But as it stands now, I'm worried that the box office is going to underperform and we won't get to see Avatar 4 and 5. And I want more of these movies, just while getting less of these movies, if you know what I mean. But what did you guys think about Avatar Fire and Ash? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you think I'm wrong? You want to yell at me? You can do so in the comments below, or find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, or our free-to-join Discord server. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.